Everybody laser engraves onto wood. So I laser engraved a circuit board design onto a Coyote skull. Most people just assume it won't work or the design won't work on a curved surface. So today I'm gonna find out if I can laser engrave a real Coyote skull with the cheapest laser engraver I could find. If you caught my last video, then you know that this laser engraver actually works on antlers, like slices, tines, even full-size antlers. And I ended that video by saying skulls are next, so here we are. Now, I wanna be upfront about something, and that is going in, I really had my doubts about this. The antler turned out great because it's a slightly curved surface, but this is a skull and you don't get any of that. It curves in like almost every direction. Bone isn't exactly listed in any of the software, so if this goes badly, I end up with a burnt skull and nothing to show for it. But here's why I think this experiment is worth it. I hand engrave skulls and then I sell them. And if a laser engraver can engrave a design onto a skull, that opens up a completely new price tier that I can offer to people. Something that I can offer to people who want something custom and unique, but just can't afford a full-fledged hand-engraved skull. So the potential upside to giving this a try is just too good to pass up. Here's what actually makes this hard, and I want to walk through it carefully with you because it's the exact reason why a lot of people don't even try this. Laser engravers are designed to fire at a specific focal distance from the material. That distance has to stay consistent or your burn goes on soft, uneven, or patchy. On a flat piece of wood, that's easy. The whole surface sits on the same height. On a skull, you've got high points and low points across the entire piece. The center of your design might be perfectly in focus while the edges where the skull curves away are already drifting out of range. So my real concern going in wasn't even that it would work on bone. I've kind of already tested that with the antlers. The real concern is that it would burn evenly across an entire surface that's constantly drifting away from the lens. For the design, I went with a circuit board design. That's kind of my signature. And I did that on purpose. It's geometric, it's got fine lines running in every direction, and if the engraving goes uneven anywhere, you're going to see it immediately. So no hiding it in a circuit board design. It's basically like a stress test for this entire experiment. So here's how I set it up. I took a photo of the skull straight on and printed it out. Then I drew the circuit board design directly onto the printout. So I had a template already sized and positioned to the actual skull surface before I ever opened the software. So no guessing. Then I photographed that template and dragged it into the Creality program. The other issue, the skull, is too tall to fit under the laser in its standard position. So I lifted the entire unit up on some wooden blocks I had until there was enough clearance underneath for the skull to fit perfectly. That took about a minute or so to sort out, and once it was set, it was solid. Okay, everything is in position as best as I can get it. This engraver does not have a positioning camera, so you just kind of finagle it to what you think is best, what's in position. Now, bone isn't in the software, obviously, so I just chose walnut. I thought that was a pretty good call. It's hard, kind of like bone. So we'll start a bit conservative, higher speed, lower power, and then go from there. The first pass is not looking great. It's splotchy and I may have it a bit off center. Certainly not good enough to sell and certainly not good enough to really show anybody anything. So I did what I always do in a situation like this. I lowered the speed and bumped up the power. Second pass is looking much more promising. Still haven't hit the parts on the back of the skull and on the sides where it dips away. So we'll see how that goes, fingers crossed. So interesting results so far. Now, the areas that are sloping away from the lens, it is having a rough time burning designs into those areas. That's what I was afraid of, and that does seem to be the case. The interesting thing is, which I was not expecting, is distance doesn't seem to have that much effect on it. So the front of the skull here along the nose bone is further away than like the top of the cranium, and yet they're burning at the same depth and the same concentration and like the same darkness. So that part of it is really cool. I'm really surprised about that. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know how bone, the density of bone possibly is different than wood. I'm sure it is, but I just don't know the difference there to why it would make such a big difference on wood, and apparently not that much difference on bone. Okay, you don't have to believe me, but the smell is not actually that bad at all. As you can see, it doesn't even smoke, and the smell that you do get from it really just smells like wood. It doesn't even smell like burning hair, which you might think. And I don't even have a fan going on right now. Typically I do, but it doesn't smell that bad. It really doesn't. So there it is. Now there were some issues like I kind of expected. You can see where the skull curves down. It had a real hard time burning the bone there. And I did try to adjust it because it was off center, and then that ruined the front of the skull. But I live by the motto of, if you don't make mistakes, you don't make anything. So this is a great start. And this one will go on my own personal shelf as kind of a testament to my experiment and learning new things. So given how well my very first laser engraving is on a skull, this matters a lot beyond just being an experiment. I already hand engrave skulls, and that's real labor, and that's time. And the prices for my pieces reflect that time. But not everyone can afford the cost that goes into making one of my custom engraved skulls. And that's just a fact. So the possibility of adding another tier to what I can offer my customers, something a bit more affordable to them, is not a downgrade, it's just a different product. And for the skulls that I clean for people, this is just a natural upsell to adding what I can offer to my customers. The laser engraver I'm using is the Creality Laser Falcon 10 watt, which I picked up for $200. I'll leave an affiliate link in the description of this video for you to check out. And for a small business, that is an extremely easy investment to justify, and you will make your money back. Now, if I would have to start over, I would go with something a little bit nicer, something again with that camera positioning system in it, and possibly more watts to burn something like a skull a little bit further away on those edges. Now, before the outro, I do want to mention my Patreon because it is directly related to what you just watched. In about 4 months, I will be leaving my 9-to-5 job and running this business full time. On Patreon, I am documenting the whole process in real time, real numbers. I share exactly what I make each month and how I'm making that money. So if you're curious on how to build something like this, you can come follow me there. So the bottom line is laser engraving does work on skulls and a lot better than I expected it to. Now, there were some hiccups. I tried to reposition the skull while it was going, which was my fault, and I got the position wrong. And on the surface that slopes away, it's having a hard time. But I did do another Coyote skull. I kind of changed the position a bit, and that one came out amazing. So it can only get better from here. So my next challenge is going to be a bigger canvas and a bigger skull. So I'm probably going to go with something like a deer skull. Now that's even more of a challenge because you've got antlers in the way and stuff like that. But again, if this is my first skull, let's make some mistakes and actually make something, right? And I want to hear from you. So what design should I do next? Just drop it in the comments. I genuinely do read those comments and respond and take those into consideration. I will leave a link for the laser engraver I used in the description of this video. And if you missed the video where I laser engraved antlers, I will leave that in the description as well. So if this is content you like to see, please do consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.